Welcome to the fastest chaos and the quarterfinals here between FreakinChris starting with the Byzantines and Frost9 with the Teutons. Lots of good futures for DM maybe, and Polar is here with me on a snowy map and with a trap paladin for Frost. What are your thoughts on the matchup and map combination here, Mr. Polar?
I think the map is very large. It's as you mentioned, a lot of wood. I think the matchup, I guess the bigger map is sort of kind of a good for Teutons because it means they can slowly progress and move up. But it's also good for Byzantines because it gives them kind of time to kind of establish their base as well. So very interesting, very interesting. I'm not sure how this is really going to go, to be honest.
Byzantine Cavalry Archers by Chris. Okay. You wanted to rush here against the no treadmill Crane Civ, but I do think the distance is a bit too far for that. As the first castle is already up and Crenellations are taking out, like the unique tech with further range for the Teutons is taking out all the CA when they come in. Will the CA met the castle as well? Well, meets a Halberdier first, and then the castle.
So I think Chris's probably approach, if I'm him, I would try and mass up your cataphracts. I would try and get as many bombard cannons as possible. Going to be needed to micro them. Even the old classic polar towers would help Chris here, especially against the Teutons, I think, as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Wait, is my chat gone as well?
Oh yeah, something went wrong. It could be Streamlabs might be down. I remember that's happened in the past where Streamlabs has gone down. So
I guess no chat on screen today, then I'm gonna take the box off. Wait, I can't take the box off? Where's the box? Chat overlay, see. Move that down. You will have to look at actual chat on the right, I'm sorry. As long as the rest's working, we're fine, I guess.
Fine. Yep. So I think there's 4 relics on this map, if I'm not mistaken, from your standard 5. So it looks like both players can easily snipe or get 2 relics each.
Kind of all around the sides. Top side, maybe we could see steel. Chris is making every unit his Amons. Yeah, we have Halberdiers, Paladins, Cataphracts, Arbalest, Cav Archers, Hussars, Champions, and well, Monks for set relics. But yeah, bit of AI Chris here.
I don't think anyone took a market, did they?
Chris did. Quite heavily as well. 500, okay. 500, nice. 500, 500. Selling both of them here.
Yeah, that's smart by Chris as the Byzantine. I like that. Chris doing some actually good raiding at the back. I mean, he's lost a fair few units, but he has kind of slowed down a little bit of production of Frost's back town centers.
Yeah, 5, 6 eco KD now is finding some more villagers here on the castle, I think. Yeah, on the forward castle, but one gets walled in. First engagements, not looking too shabby. Frost Siege Launcher Micro will have to be on point here, as the Cataphracts are very good at like going through Halberdiers and getting into the SO.
Yeah, Chris is now slowly starting to pump out the bombard cannons. I would have liked him to have at least a few more in the field already. I think known against Frost with a Siege Onager Civ, you know, Frost's kind of priority is to get the Siege Onagers out quick enough, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, what's the actual army comp you would want to see here out of the Byzantines? Like, as Chris doesn't seem to be sure, and I have to admit, I'm not sure either.
It's tough. I mean, Teutons have so many good options, don't they? They have a really good tech tree with the Paladins, the Halberdiers, the Onagers, the Teutonic Knights. I think Chris doesn't really want to take engagements unless he's forced to as the Byzantine. I think you want to mass the Cataphracts. You kind of want to play defensive in this matchup as to try and drain the Teutons' gold down as much as possible, get his siege down. But Frost is kind of doing very well. He's taking good trades. I mean, you look at the army value of 13k to 7.5 in favor of Frost already after 10 minutes. So that shows you the good fights Frost has already taken against the Byzantine.
And the KD as well, right? 213 to 107. So the SO shots have been on point so far. Yeah, Byzantine win condition might be late game, right? When there's nothing but ETK as a gold unit anymore for.
And also Byzantine's getting Hussar against the light cav. One thing I do notice, which is kind of okay for Chris at the moment, is he's almost up to 100 villagers. Frost, as we know, has been delayed a little bit with the Paladin snipes from Chris, so he's sitting around about 44. So like I say, Chris has got to buy himself some time. He's got to expand. He's gonna, like I said, he has worn down quite a few numbers of siege onagers by Frost, but Frost also has another 7 in the queue coming.
Yeah, he's still alright. Also, the market for the Byzantines meant Chris was out of food very early there, adding in early Hussar as well. So I'm not sure if I like the heavy market usage by the Byzantines that much. But Chris is also expanding on the right side. Has a quite nice, like 2/3 of the map castle there. Potential staging point to indeed contest that big gold pile there on the right side of the map that Potato Dude mentioned as a point where Chris could think about pushing or harassing.
I do like Chris. I think this is the most number of farmland I've ever seen without a TC in top right.
Oh boy! Oh boy! He's
That's
not
brilliant.
expecting the Tudens to raid. I mean, Tudens don't get light cap even, so yeah, might work out.
I can see his thinking or his theory behind it. That
Oh, they just got on all the arms!
That was humongous. That's put Chris down in really bad position. 29 army,
Frost will have to beat Greta again here. Come on, he's deforesting again.
Oh, that was not a good loss for Chris right there. I mean, Chris is at the limit. I mean, he's got a good number of farmers, but he's only got 16. Now down to 12 gold miners right now. So that's not looking good. 3 bombard cannons on the field, but he's going to have to do, I don't know, this is looking very, very tricky for Chris in this game 1.
And besides my environmental complaints, I really like this move from Frost. It's always so smart. When he sees a hill with wood on it, he takes the hill. And he doesn't care about the wood on it much. So now his trebuchets will have wood bonus against the Byzantine castles here. Beautiful angle to push from that. Not many other players would think about, I feel.
Yeah, looking very strong for Frost. As you can see, he's got all those siege onagers. I've seen Frost do this a lot as well. If you notice, he's a very high user of monks these days. And you don't often see monks too often in Deathmatch unless you're against sort of like a Persian. But Frost likes to throw in some monks every now and then.
Yeah, healing up his paladins there from the backline. Kills one castle. Eh? What? Why do traps have a wood bonus? This is about chat. Did you say that?
Traps have wood bonus? I never knew that.
I don't know what that's about. On the right side, Chris is trying to push with 1 trebuchets, but I think even ETK with their... He's converting it!
It's converted, there you go.
Oh, he can't convert it. The castle's already has to kill it, but it would have been cool if it
Once Frost found religion, he did change man. He just wants to convert every unit possible and build in.
I said wood bonus instead of hill bonus. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I obviously meant the hill bonus under the wood.
Not looking great for Chris at all, as we mentioned. 17 army. He does have 128 villagers, but he's getting pushed back. He's lost a lot of his starting castles. As we know, the Byzantine is crucial for Byzantines with their cataphracts. How do you see Chris getting back in this one? We'll just say that I just seen Frost attack round 2 of his trebuchets, so that's a start.
I think he has to give up. Like, maybe his main base make production at the back, but he's not seeing himself, so... Frost takes game 1 quicker than I thought on this, like, Oasis generation here. 142 villagers. That's kind of all he's got. Also ran out of wood. So wood bonus might have been needed for Chris here.
Yep, very solid game 1 from Frost. I think, like you mentioned, I think Chris got a little bit sucker punched. I don't think he expected Frost to kind of mass up his army so quick with the onagers, and from then on it was just kind of a slow push in on Chris. But overall not too bad for Chris. I mean, Frost's Teutons, it's one of his strongest civs out of his draft. Chris would be a bit disappointing, but it's only game 1 out of a potentially best of 7, so we have to see what game 2 entails.
Yeah, obviously draft-wise, Frost spending a lot here on getting the first point, but Chris also with the Byzantines, also rather an early pick for him, right? I think would have had maybe some nice match. Maybe, I think Chris might have thought what I thought, that the Goths opener would be a nice idea here, and maybe he was trying to counter the Goth opener.
Yeah, maybe Chris was probably hoping for maybe like a hybrid map with water as well. Potentially. He might have thought about using his re, but he kind of obviously went with it.
Before you look, which civs would you expect for game 2?
If I'm Chris, I will maybe go for Malians and maybe Frost Dravidians or Bulgarians. I'm guessing you've probably seen the Civs, right?
No, I actually
No, you
also
haven't.
didn't
Okay.
look.
I'm trying to think in the mindset of both players. What about you? What do you think they might go for?
Uh, will I do it? I want to
think the
predict
obvious-
Vietnamese Incas again.
Oh,
I'm
God.
not sure if I should. But Frost knows he's
mean-
on the first end of that now. Because he won the
Yeah.
Incas against Sandy, so probably
I
not
mean, do
gonna
you play a mind game? I think the obvious answer for Chris is like you kind of would go Saracens, right, to try and claw your way back to a 1-1 on the board here. But does that seem too obvious?
Is there a counter to it, is the question then, right?
To Saracens, potential. I think Bulgarians, if they can mass up with their Krepos, could be really annoying. I mean, the only way you're going to push with Saracens is via Trebs, right? So you could be annoying. Dravidians, I think, potentially could hold their own if they could mass up their siege onagers with the elephant archers. It's just hard. It just all depends on the map as well. So
I mean, I could somewhat see something like Malians Hindustanis happening, and Frost just tries to go for market all in and not spend a civ here.
we haven't
Doesn't
talked
sound
about
too
Burmese
Frost
as
to me.
well. Could Burmese be played? Okay, I see.
More Frost
That
thing
is-
to play Burmese. Okay, let's see what it is.
Oh, okay.
I was close with Vietnamese Incas.
Yeah. I think if this is not a water map, Chris might read if it is a water map. If it's not a water map, I think Frost could read this, in my opinion.
Incas aren't too bad on water, though.
That's true. They don't get cannon galleon though, do they? Which
Yeah,
could be
but
a
they
bit of a
get
problem.
everything else, so...
Yeah.
And Goths only do have, I think, still don't get elite cannon galleon, right? They only have normal cannon galleon, so it's also not too great.
It could be hard for
I
Chris
think
on land
Incas
as
could be
well.
fine
with the
there.
bombard
What-
cannons of Goths could be
what do-
hard for.
What do Goths do against Mamelukes?
Hand cannoneers,
I
hand
guess.
cannoneers, champions, bombard cannons. I mean, you could even have an argument of maybe a few scorpion here and there, but obviously that you need quite a lot, and they're quite hard to micro. Incas don't get bombard cannons, so you know Incas is going to be a pure land kind of hand to hand. They do get the slingers, but obviously slingers are only good against obviously hand to hand units. So maybe CA from
Goth CA
Goths.
times is 2AP,
Yeah.
and Amon's once again also very close with the civ prediction.
I need. I'll be more confident who I can predict on the map. I'm gonna sit on the fence there, but yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I guess we'll go straight into live. Otter, does that make sense again?
Sorry, I had a call, so it cut out for me.
Sorry, I was gonna say we can just go straight into live, right?
Yes, let's do that.
Pause. Cool. Game 2. Oh, it's one of these hideout maps, as I like to call it. I think we saw this Chris versus Daywalker as well, didn't we, in their series?
I think it's one of the rather tricky ones, because these are fences. They aren't palisade walls. Only 1 HP, so it actually is an open map, but doesn't look like it. Well, it's not that open. It's more semi-closed, I guess. But it still changes the pathing, so it does protect you more than the 1 HP would suggest.
I do
Archer
like how
range start
both
for
players
Chris.
scout.
Oh boy, that's dangerous! Like, if...
Frost goes
Also, a
for
lot of
champion.
ranges for both. They're both trusting defenses too much, I think.
I kind of do like the slinger opening. I guess it makes sense against Goths, but I wonder if Frost maybe thought if he sees the slingers, if he'll add any cavalry in at all.
There's your
Maybe a
CA,
bit too much
Trappy.
switch.
There's the Goth CA.
We see a
And
village against
champions
snipes
are
as well.
in... I'm not sure if the slingers are opening. Yeah, they quite get their bonus quite instantly, right? They also got a buff, I think. Predictions is up, by the way, if you want that some. Rocks, we had a lot of rocks in the last prediction for game 1 already.
Do you know what Chris needs, Otter? to make this a survivable long game, he needs towers. He needs those Inca towers. I'm gonna say it now.
They aren't even guard towers, so I'm not sure if it really counts as polar towers. Because they get keep, I know that. They have cheaper keeps.
I've noticed it's a bit unlucky for Chris. He does have that full. That's not a neutral gold, is it? That's Chris's front gold, right? Those 5 tiles next to the 2 stone.
He has someone in his base, and there's someone too in his base.
The back gold, yeah.
So,
quite crucial.
But it's between behind the wood as well. Does look like relatively, even though I think the base gold it's only 3-tile gold additionally in frost space. But the middle seems very crucial, right? The big stone piles for both as well. So I think that's kind of both main stones there, or I don't know if there's main resource on Hyperrandom, but there's a lot of stone and gold in the middle for sure.
Frost going for the composition of more or less every unit as well, like I mentioned with the Scorpions, the Bombard Cannons, a few hand cannons, even the HCA. As we know, HCA are very good against slingers.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen such an infantry-less Goth composition in a while, but it's obviously down to the main Incan army being slingers. When do we even see Incan slingers as the main army? This is kind of really cool.
It's just going to be so hard for Chris now with Frost getting out the Bombard Cannons with the Trebs creeping in behind. I mean, for Chris, I'm trying to think how he defends it. I mean, he could maybe potentially do a side push of Rams. But
against this, he could do Eagles as well, right?
Yes, Eagles, yes. So they get is it the extra armor the Eagle
yeah.
Warriors get? Yeah, that could be good. That could be good as
Only
well.
2 barracks for him. But he is trying to add in some Eagles, trying to go for Mamelukes, which should also do quite fine here, besides the Onagers getting good shots. And maybe switch away from Slingers into Arbalist if he can afford that. It doesn't really look like he can afford Eagles and Arbalists right now.
And like you said, the Eagles and the Mamelukes might not be a bad idea, as we see Frost is actually not producing too many more champions. He's going for a heavy kind of sort of siege composition. He's even throwing skirmishers in there. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they're against the Slingers and against potential Arbs. Yeah, it's such a weird matchup because we're not seeing the infantry units we're used to from both civs here. It like throws you off so much, but I think Frost is kind of doing the most sensible thing he can do in this matchup. And Chris with the Slinger opening got himself a nice position on the map too, now adding his own Onagers. He has the better Onagers because Incas get siege engineers as opposed to gods. So really I do like the situation for Chris, yeah.
I mean, both players are kind of out of gold, but Frost is really out of gold. You look at the army number 40 to 93 for Chris, and Chris is pushing that middle. He's got the Trebs, looking very good in game number 2 for Chris right now.
Slingers there on the right side get some nice onager shots against the Cavalry Archers possibly. Frost does have the hill though. Chris kills another castle. Army lead massive for him. I mean, the Slingers aren't doing too much damage to anything but that, but infantry, but the Mamelukes coming in, and Chris evens out the set really quickly 1-1.
Wow. I'm impressed. I have to say I'm impressed by Chris, because I would have thought that potentially Goths on this map could do really well. But fair play to Chris. Very well played in game number 2. So quite a fast game as well. Quite a fast game. I was expecting it to maybe be a little bit longer, but that's credit to Chris's playstyle. Very aggressive. Had a clear plan. Well played by him. Okay, got the code for game number 3. So we've got a tie of 1-1 in this series so far.
Yeah, that was a really funny game. Like, I don't think I've ever seen like these army compositions out of these 2 civs. And it wasn't mistakes by anyone. It was really nice. And also like the mass Slinger army winning.
Yeah, they survived for a lot longer than I thought. I thought the Slingers were going to get flattened by the Onagers and the Bombard Cannons, but they were still on the field. Still on the field.
I don't remember which buff they got, but I think they got a buff.
Okay. Okay, so I've got the new ID from Frost, who's been very efficient with it.
Okay. Then I don't have to send you the ideas anymore if Frost is doing it as well.
Okay, I think
Cheaper, yeah, but something else as well, I think.
Bulgarians versus Malians, that's what I'm going to go for.
And I think I say Dravidians, Malians.
Okay, and I'm going to predict we're going to see the map where it has the market in the middle you can trade with on the hill. Even though there's so many maps it could
There's
be.
There's a lot of maps that have that, but I think there's a trigger of like some percentage for the market in the middle to appear with the hill.
I like that map. I like that map.
Yeah, produce really fun maps. Yeah.
So you're going Dravidian.
Tatars you have in the chat. I was going Dravidian Malian. Malian Burmese I see as well by Goku.
Yeah, it's a lot of mind games now because Incas is a strong civ, not one of the strongest on Chris's draft, so it was nice for him to pick up that win. Still a lot of options, a lot of combinations you can go for. Okay, they might have started. Yes, they have. So let's.
I think chat is working again.
Ooh, okay. You got one of the civilizations, correct?
I can't observe the match now. Okay, there we go. Oh, Dravidians and the Saracens are coming out for Chris. Oh boy, that's not the greatest thing for Frost at all here.
Frost has got to hope for a massive map, a massive land map, and if it's so, he's got to try and take the market away from Saracens, and he's got to survive. This could be the first depending on the map.
Or distant water map. Wouldn't a distant water map maybe be a chance for Dravidians if they can go?
Yeah, they get Rishadai, don't they, as well? Yeah. And
the unique warship against the Saracen galleon. I would want to see that.
If it's a close land map, I think Frost will because I think Chris will do an all-in market with the camels.
The camels, but Dravidians have Hyperrandom, so camels you might be fine with Dravidians. I feel like the story is more about having better SO and a lot of counters to the elephants here.
Okay. Is Frost going to take his chance?
I mean, Frost is going all in market. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sorry. And we have Arabia with cliffs. Yeah. Runestones. More like Windows runestones with the amount of wood.
What do you think of Frost placing those two early castles down? Obviously, Dravidians do not get Treadmill Crane. I can see foundation of the market as well for Frost to try and snipe it.
Yeah, will Chris Hussar see it? He's not going for the market yet. Prediction is up. And Chris Hussar's running nowhere?
Okay, Chris is going for another HCA open in here, so he wants to kind of try and veil pick Frost early, but I think Frost also kind of predicted that maybe. As you can see, he's already got a castle on kind of 50%.
Once Elephant Archers are out, the Cav Archers should be quite useless here. And the Hussar should probably die before the Villager does. It does. No Villager losses, which is good news for Frost. Chris heavily taking the market away from Frost. Like,
that was so
5 seconds before he's taking it.
Because Chris saw the one villager on the market, and Frost had to kind of garrison that villager away, and Chris did basically the snipe of the market. So Frost is not going to feel too great when he looked at the prices and realized that he was just a bit too late.
Yeah, especially wants to sell wood with Dravidians kind of always, I think. But he's not adding any ranges. Is he not going for Alien Archers? Okay, he's not going for Alien Archers after SO. The camels and Cav Archers are actually finding kills there at the right side. Maybe not where the front castle is, but Chris, this time, as opposed to game 1, not walking his Cav Archers into the castles, but sniping villagers on the outside.
Yes, some very good snipes there, as you mentioned. Frost has really got to kind of be careful of those kind of his two main gold piles, just kind of to the top right of his base. That could potentially be a problem if he doesn't lock that down early on. So we'll have to see. Frost trying to do a Halberdier raid on the left as well, trying to be annoying. So Chris, we're looking at the army counts. Kind of Chris double the army that's expected against the Dravidian, as we know Dravidians are sort of like a slow powerhouse civ to get going. What are the win conditions for both players here, Otter?
Win condition for Saracens, I think in part is like ending it early, but the map is quite far. And I know Dravidians usually want to go for Death Ball, but I like Mameluke against the Elephant Archers, and I like the better Onagers against the other Siege Archers. I think the main win condition for Frost is out micro opponent in SO battle.
Yeah. Frost is also adding bombard cannons as well. A lot of people forget sometimes that Dravidians do get them. So I think that's a good addition as well. I think, as we know, the Saracens siege onagers with their more damage is very dangerous. But Chris
Saracens get them as well, though. I mean, Chris could do the
that's
same.
very true.
And I think even more people forget that Saracens get them.
Yeah. Do you know what? I admit I just forgot they had them as well.
I would have pros, I thought.
There you go.
It's like Koreans even as well, right? People never make
Koreans,
PVC with them, even though they do have them. So. Oh, Mamelukes streaming in.
I think he's fearing a little bit. You can see Frost is going to try and build a forward outpost here. He wants to know what Chris is doing. As we know, the Dravidian's mobility is very slow compared to Saracens. So he wants to see what Chris's plan is and what he's thinking.
Most important trash unit in the late game is Hussar, so that's an advantage for the Saracens. Outpost goes down. I really don't like that Chris is continuing to make Cavalry Archers after the rush. Because I don't think they give you anything here, right? They're facing Elephant Archers and Siege Archers.
Yeah. I think instead of the HCA, I think camels would have been better to sit with your siege onagers, to be honest.
I think like Mameluke is always what he wants to get to. I guess there's some unit to bridge. Maybe even go early Fudiko and Hussar. But I guess he used the market, so he didn't want to add too many Hussar. The heavy siege battle ensuing now. Trades don't look too shabby for Frost for having the worst onagers.
And both players taking a lot of losses there with their siege onagers, as you mentioned. That was quite an intense siege onager battle. Chris has got to be careful there, so with his Mamelukes kind of diving in the middle, but he does get the snipe on the onager. Frost has actually got 7 onagers on the field, but only 2 are kind of in the front line. A lot of them are kind of sitting, kind of back in his base. Chris taking some good trades. He does snipe bombard cannon. He's now pushing with 4 trebs on the left, so that castle Frost is going to go down.
I think it's still looking good for Frost. I mean, Mamelukes are just such a hard... For Chris, I mean, Mamelukes are just such a hard unit to deal with. If they stay behind us, a bit too forward there maybe right now, but gets them out without too many losses.
I do like Chris's position. He's able to. He's basically Frost has been on the back foot since minute 2. A lot of trebs there for Chris. Just
one night shot on the Hussar. Let's go, Frost. Beautiful attack round. But not sure it will be enough. The Mamelukes are still doing a good job for Chris here.
Chris has just got to be a little bit careful. As you can see, he's losing a few trebs there. He also lost a couple of onagers, but those Mamelukes, as you mentioned, are just so strong, obviously being an anti-cavalry unit, and they're also good against kind of halberdiers as well.
Yeah, so mowing down the elephant, like Dravidian elephant archers, right? We talked about it, for example, in matchups against Huns, and it feels impossible to kill them. I think it's impossible for Saracens to kill.
Yep, and Chris is showing why Saracens often get kind of banned or sniped in the draft in this tournament. Chris is playing this very well. As we know, Mamelukes are quite an expensive unit as well, so you have to be kind of really good with your micro, but Chris doing a good job. Chris not doing any farms yet. In fact, both players, you can tell where it's a really micro-intensive game when you look at their economy and see that they've only got 7 farmers, Chris now 6, so...
Yeah, I just looked at that as well, right? Both them going for very food-heavy units as well, in Mamelukes and Elephant Archers, and very micro-heavy units with the Siege Archers and with Mameluke as well, right? Elephant Archers probably not as much.
Frost survived kind of that push, but what I like by Chris, as you can see on the left, he's kind of placing 2 castles down, so you could argue that's technically Frost's kind of gold in a way. But well played by Chris for putting the castle there to kind of secure it for the time being. So So looking at Frost base, he's going to put in a back defensive castle. He's getting his farms up. He's up to kind of 18. You look at the army value, it's actually in favor of Frost, 8.3k to 5.7. Chris has 142 villagers. Do you think that's an overboom? 142 villagers as Saracens.
Like, he's not pop capped. I don't think he needs to delete yet. He's also making expensive units. But could probably delete some gold miners soon. Well, as all fights, Chris is giving the middle of the map a bit to Frost. I'm trying to develop the like sides of the map more, but that's where the goals are, so I kind of don't mind it at all for Chris.
Frost also almost has 1,000 stone, so if Frost feels confident, he could try and put a castle in that middle. As you can see, Chris, I think Chris... Oh, he's okay, so he had a bit of stone, but he's now... I see a couple foundations of town centres in the back of his base, so... And he's also... Chris is actually adding another castle on top. I like that line of 4. He really wants to protect that gold and stone.
That is one on a stone, one on a gold. Okay, one only on a wood line and 3 farms and another one on 2 golds. So overall, there's one big rest pile for each of these castles somewhat. But I think the one in the middle, like where the mill is could have maybe not be there.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, Frost is putting the castle not as forward as I liked it, but I think he's trying to play it safe, as you can see. And the one thing I really like for Chris, oof, those Mamelukes, oof, some nice shots there by Frost.
Yeah, I think we could see a little bit of a longer game here. I mean, if it goes very long, I favored Saracens if they can make CA again.
Yes, I agree.
But in the mid game, the SO make it very even, because the Mamelukes have to fear the SO and the Elephant Archer have to fear the SO. And they both kind of kill all else units. But advantage Chris a bit, because the Mamelukes better against the Elephant Archers.
Oh, how was that? How Frost? Oh, okay, those onagers do go down. But yeah, I'm surprised he didn't flatten more with that one shot.
The Elephant Archers are kind of good at taking onagers out, the way Frost is microing them.
So what I like for Chris is he does have 81 villagers collecting gold, but what I've also just noticed is Frost has a 3-0 relic lead, so Frost is not going to throw in the towel anytime soon, even if he does get pushed back.
Oh, how did he get 3 relics with Dravidians? That's really impressive with the store still.
Secret snipe, isn't it? Was that
There's one in the top corner as well. There's one in the very top corner. Yes. Come on, I want to see if Frostmonk sneak that out. It would be hilarious.
The great relic guys, we love them.
You're kind of looking towards the north. Look at that one monk that's standing where the trebuchets are. It's clearly looking towards the north corner.
Yeah, they're having a discussion. They're doing rock, paper, scissors. Who's going to be the tribute?
Yeah, I think he had the shorter straw, so he has to go up north, but he's a bit fearful, so he hasn't started walking yet. The other guys, but your straw was clearly smaller. I measured them before.
It's like, no, they're both retreating. They're both like, nah, it's too dangerous. I see a Mameluke army here. I'm going back. We'll discuss it again later.
Yeah, and he just said, yeah, but my dear friend Ralph, he said he really needs healing. We have to do that first. Okay, I will go later. Okay. That's what that wants.
Your chat and Tweppy says, I think Hazi will come and take the top relic if no one gets it. So we might see a Hazi snipe here.
We have to watch the top corner. There will a Hazi unit appear. Also green, but it won't be a FreakinChris unit because it will appear out of the nothingness and take the relic back into nothingness.
It's weird because on my capture age, the relics are not white. They're sort of green. Is this something to do with the map? It's weird.
That's because you have installed the Hazi mod and Hazi takes out the relics, hence they're green. Hazi also picks green, right?
There you go. And we see the first tower of this game by Frost on his woodline to the right. First keep.
After we didn't see any keeps in the Inca game, right?
Yes. Well, Frost's got to be a little bit careful with his trebuchets. He loses one in the middle there. It's a very interesting game.
Very tactical, very strategical. Not too much fighting going on. I mean, it's going somewhat well for Chris by that, because he kind of got all the southern gold. He lost the castle there now. And there's a keeping operation by Frost, but there's not much to be kept. 5 gold, and it's gone.
I think both players are playing this very kind of, like you said, cautious now. Frost knows he needs to keep the Elephant Archers alive as Dravidians. Chris knows he can't throw away too many of the Mamelukes as well. They're sort of like his really good unit to hold on to. So both players Just playing it a bit cautiously. I mean, like I said, Chris doesn't have a single trebuchet, so he's not going to be kind of pushing anytime soon against castles. Frost does have 9, so he's just probably biding his time, and we see some great SO shots on the left there. Chris losing all of those little herd of Mamelukes as well, so that's a great exchange there for Frost.
Oh, here! I know it's 3 fights going on. I was watching the other 2. They have like 3 SO fights going on, one at the top, like where the 2 siege workshops are, one in the middle, and then the one I missed where he lost all the Mamelukes. I was watching the other 2. Which Mamelukes? There's no Mamelukes in these SO fights.
And now Frost is going to attempt to trebuchet down that castle on the right. Good job by Chris for mining all that gold, and as you can see, he's mining the stone. Chris is also adding some keeps as well. But, I mean, if I'm Chris, at the moment, I'm looking at his pop. Okay, he's pop capped. I would like to see some Hussar raids starting now, if possible. But Frost is kind of doing a good job of kind of dictating, kind of moving Chris's army around on the right too.
Exactly. Something Frost is also very good at, right? We saw so far in the tournament, looks Frost dominated a lot, right? A lot of him just winning with 1 push. So we haven't, like, this is the first time we have to see, like, some other things by Frost. That only come out if he's playing, like, also really, really good players. So he can show that portion a bit more.
And Frost took a fantastic 1-5 onager trade on some of Chris's onagers on the right there. So, but Frost has got to be really careful because his trebuchets are walking into no man land at the moment in front of the trees.
Yeah, it's an ugly woodline in front of his base, right? Pathing new and improved, but he saves them. All 3 of them on different sides. 1 to the left, 2 to the right. Probably get pathing.
Actually take out 2 onagers as well, so you could argue that was quite a good trade for Frost.
Are you ahead of me a bit? Am I not live?
What time are you at?
29, 7, 8, 9, 10. I seem to be live.
Yeah, I'm at 29:20.
Oh, are you not using Capture Age? How can you be faster?
I'm using Capture Age.
Oh, well, Suno skills, I guess. I don't know. But maybe pause 3 minutes because I can't go faster.
Oh, we missed the relic. Chris got it. Chris got that relic top right.
Ah, Chris got it. Okay. Well, no, Hezi got it. Hezi was just being kind to Suno's opponents and giving it.
Chris, aka Hezi. I missed it. I only saw it because Chris is placing down some more farms in that corner.
Elephant Archers also oddly walking around that wood line. I mean, Chris has once again more control now. Where's Frost's army? Kind of just waiting in the middle, thinking about his next move.
Yeah.
But I think his next move will be to the south.
South, yeah. I was about to say Frost got a great attack round on some of the Hussars of Chris in that bottom left. So, are they thinking now more towards a long game? As you can see, the fighting's transitioned a little bit down to the bottom left. Maybe they're thinking about the wood, but there is a lot of wood on this map, to be honest.
I think it's kind of too early to think about. Is it ever too early to think about the wood game? I think players are divided.
Kelar, right? Wood control.
Yeah.
But I like the towers. I do like throwing up an odd keep here and there on wood lines because it can be very irritating if you send some villagers to kind of chop wood and then you see some keeps firing at you. So yeah, it's very interesting. Chris is now adding some trebs. So Chris is going to look to kind of push through the middle. Chris is now, as we know, the gold's running out. He's going to transition to Hussars.
Peppy says Frost is going to do a big push. I think it looks like Chris is attempting one now with the 8 traps. Yeah, he's pushing in the middle, but it is his last golden army here. And, well, let's see what Polar said at the start of the set, right? Cerses aren't that dangerous. If they run out of gold, will be a lot tougher to kill the elephants than that Frost kept alive here. So start trying to snipe the siege. Who's the safe kill?
It's very tense. I'm worried for both players' onagers here. I'm really worried. Might see some heavy losses. I like the forward polar keep push here by Chris to kind of protect his trebs as well. I like that. Now we see some
great
trades here.
Did you just call it polar push yourself? Yeah. But this is a really important engagement. That's the 2 last gold armies meeting the Mamelukes, the Elephant Archers, the Siege Onagers. Great shot by Frost. Kills 4-1 there.
And this is what is great when I mentioned earlier about Frost. Crucial to keeping his Elephant Archers alive because they can tank SO shots. So while Chris's SOs were shooting at the Elephant Archers, Frost was so smart, or it was able to target the SOs with his own at the back. So yeah, Chris down to 7. He's got 1 in the queue. Frost has got 9 with another 4 in the queue. So very good micro by both players here. I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
Yeah, really, really tense fight. Can't forget Dravidian Elephants Archers healing themselves as well with the medical corps. Now the reps coming forward against those keeps. And conversion attempt!
As you can see, Chris sold 2,000 wood for gold. So yeah, that's as I mentioned with Saracens, very, very gold heavy civilization. So are Dravidians as well, but Saracens, you know, their Mamelukes are just crucial to kind of their pushes. Now we see the Trebs here. I always, I get so nervous.
Was Chris on Onager, I think, and now the Elephant Archers can probably finish them off. They are quite tanky, can go in and just target the trebuchets. Probably that one should be targeted by the traps, and yeah, there goes Chris. Trebuchets, it's looking good for Frost now. Kanji says Husa SO should be perfectly fine. We still have 8 SO on the field for Chris. So now it's all about, can Frost push through with his Elephant Archers, or will he eventually lose them? What do we all think about skirmishers for the Saracens, as I do see some ranges there in the middle of the field?
I'm not opposed. Going into kind of mid to late game, I like the skirmishers. Obviously, your micro's just got to be really on point against the SOs, but I don't see any reason why not. Keep the numbers up, I guess. As long as you can kind of whittle down the Elephant Archer numbers. Obviously, Halberdiers, skirmishers are kind of expendable units, aren't they? But I don't know. Chris is completely out of gold. Frost has still got about 600-700. He does have the 3 relics. Chris did pick up the 2nd relic, so he does have 2. It's just, I don't know, does Chris need a bombard cannon or 2 to maybe try and snipe the trebuchets? It's very hard though, with those Elephant Archers.
The Elephant Archers are pretty good at sniping bombard cannons, that's true. Like, I would like to see skirms. Yeah, they will eat SO shots, but, I mean, he needs something to kill the Elephant Archers that doesn't cost gold itself, right? And if he's just adding SO, then he has a better SO, but Frost also has SO, so they'll eventually go down, and he doesn't have gold income. And I feel like attacking with the Mamelukes is too risky.
Yeah, I do like Chris up to 73 farmers. He did trying to snipe some of the onagers. I think that's kind of a good idea, but Frost is protecting well with halberdiers and towers or keeps. I think Chris might, I don't know, maybe try to distract Frost a little bit. I think it's maybe some raiding might be key here to kind of take Frost's distraction away a little bit.
I like the way freaking Andy came into the chat. How the fuck is she losing this? About his brother. Oh, the hoods are though great. Snipes there, gets all the traps by proxy of Frost SO there. That was a beautiful move.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. You don't see this matchup too often, do you, in Deathmatch, Saracens versus Dravidians? So
yeah, that's because Saracens are always sniped in the tournament, right? I don't think we've seen them played actually until the quarterfinals.
Not today.
I think we saw them once in the tournament. That actually they went through the draft and bans, snipes and bans.
And I suppose, like, as I mentioned, Dravidians can only really push with like trebs as well. So if Chris can whittle down the numbers, try and snipe the trebs, what can Dravidians really do? That's an opening for Saracens, in my opinion, to start raiding, because we know the Elephant Archers are slow mobility, but a massive engagement here.
Felt a bit like Chris finally did a better job macroing the Onagers, and then he lost them all, and then I say that, and they evenly trade Onagers, which speaks for Frost's micro, as he has the worse Onagers, no unique taken over Siege Engineers. But that also means that the Mamelukes can get an engagement with the Elephant Archers, and that's really what Chris wants. I don't know why he disengages here. I think he needs to take them down.
I would have liked to see them use a few of those Mamelukes to snipe the trebs, because Mamelukes actually do really well against kind of, once they get into kind of siege, they can take down siege very quick. Because as long as Frost has got those trebs, he's still going to be able to kind of keep reinforcing that position and push.
Mamelukes were dying, yeah, like, maybe it's not worth attacking either of what we both said, the Elephant Archers or the traps. I think Husa can eventually snipe the traps. He just needs something at the Elephant Archers, which is why I think I'm still actually calling out for skirms by Chris.
okay. I was a bit worried about that front monastery, then I realised the relics were over to the far left. That's okay. I mean, Chris has got to be really careful here. He's got like over 50 villagers in this top right-hand corner where Frost is pushing now.
That's like all the exposed farming again, right? Once again, we see Chris being a big lover of the mill instead of the town center around his farms.
And as we say that, we see a little migration.
Oh, Mameluke dive! Oh! Not as bad as I thought, but very low HP. Look at that, they're at 25% HP.
Oh, wow. Chris has one monk on the field, so where's that monk? Maybe that monk can help you there, do a little bit of healing.
He did healing earlier. That monk is holding a relic!
Oh, really? Where is the monk?
In the... next to the southern mill area.
Oh, okay.
I just clicked on the monk to find out where it is, and then I saw it. It's the third relic!
Third relic,
Chris!
that's so unlucky that he's not noticed that.
So it's actually 6 relics on the map, not 5.
Relics, yeah. Wow.
You could really use that to get out Mamelukes from time to time, or maybe... I can't use CA yet against the LA Archers. Losing all the northern farms, farm count 64, Frost 50 for Chris, but we'll go down to this raid soon. And Frost still has its siege alive. Chris can make some more SO. Kind of in the no man's land, killing a bit of wood and being attacked by towers.
And as you mentioned with the farm count, Chris, about 10 minutes ago, it was about 75 farmers. He's now down below 40. So he needs to kind of transition a bit over on the left as well. But he's getting pushed back bit by bit. As you can see, the kind of the slow push by Frost is actually doing a lot of damage.
I think it can't convert. Maybe that's healing range? I don't know why I kept showing that for a monk with relic, Ganji. Healing range is 5, right?
See what, I know nothing about monk tech, so you have to ask the RMers.
Yeah. Well, an RM pro asked me, so what can I do?
Maybe you are the pro. Maybe you are the monk pro.
I monk rush a lot, yeah, that's true. I'm a clone. An RM.
Looking at the army count, I mean, the value says it all. I mean, Frost sitting about 7.5k to 2k of Chris's army count. And see, Chris is desperately trying to utilize those Mamelukes, but with those Onagers behind, they just get flattened, so...
Both selling wood at the same time as the prices were still decent. Frost also got the better of that.
Chris now down to 10 army against 82. I think we might see GG called in the next few minutes here.
That must be quite devastating for Chris, because I'm pretty sure he also thinks that that Saracens should win this matchup.
Yes. Very nice game, number 3. Very nice game. First time I've kind of seen this kind of matchup in competitive DM. Very interesting. But well played by both players and well played to Frost.
It was a really good game to watch. Like all those siege fights, like partially 3 SO fights at the same time. That's a lot of micro that both players need to do. And then it just proves, if it needed to be proven again, how good Frost is with siege onagers, that he can like take this one home. It's really impressive by Frost.
Yeah, I think Frost played it smart. As we know, Javidians without Treadmill Crane are very slow to get going, especially against like a hard hitter against Saracens. But I think he defended it well. I think the crucial bit was he, like you mentioned, he took very good siege onager fights. I mean, the Saracens, they rely a lot on their siege onagers as well. Once Frost kind of whittled them down and kept his elephant archers alive, he then seized the opportunity and pushed. So, but yeah, very good game. Very well played by both players.
Yeah, especially like it was well played for Blade. It's really impressive for Frost to win this, I think. But it was a really nice game and really hard to play for both sides.
Yeah. And I think they're already in game number 4 already.
How?
They're not messing around. Oh, this is interesting. Oh my gosh.
So Saracens didn't win. I actually I automatically clicked to win for Saracens.
Do you want me to tell you the civs? I wouldn't predicted this.
Hindustani's Mayans. Let's go.
We have Burmese versus Persians.
Oh boy. Well, that's great for Persians, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah, should be. Maybe this is kind of, you could argue, would you say the Burmese is sort of like a throwaway burn civ in a way?
Yeah, I think Frost is very confident after winning that, so now he's picking one of his later civs. And probably Chris predicted that and picks a civ that's great against all of the later civs of Frost. Because like Persians only really fear the Bulgarians here, so I really like the Persian pick in this draft position by Chris.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the map again. Twippy says Burmese have good monks. He's asking.
Burmese do have good monks. And yeah, I think in this matchup we might see them. And with how happy Frost is with his micro right now. I would assume. Mass monks in DM, let's go. I really want to see it. Monk score, help, elephant, baby, says Twippy.
I doubt we'll see a Rambai, because I asked Frost about a Rambai the other day and he didn't like him, so...
They always seem to be underwhelming. Like, I cried out for them so much over this tournament whenever people won with Burmese CA that I somewhat start believing Burmese CA might be better. Because Lily also didn't really make them work at the start. Oh boy, that's a monk versus elephant matchup map. It's a great map for Persians in general, I think. 2 TC start should make the Persians safe at the start. But we don't see early castles by Chris. Ah, there they are. And then it's just 1 elephant push, 2 down the middle. So I think this should force quite some monasteries out of Frost, maybe. But we're not seeing them yet.
Yes, this is interesting. I mean, you've got that sort of pathway bit in the middle there. Obviously, walls are not allowed. Otherwise, I would imagine Frost would have tried to wall that as quick as possible. But I mean, is Frost going to go for heavy how? Burmese get bombard cannons, am I correct?
They do.
They do. Okay.
And siege engineers as well, I think.
Nice. So they get the extra range.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do. Well, Persians don't get siege engineers, that I'm sure of. They do get Savar now.
And what's
but I'm not Salvadiers, I'm not too sure before you siege.
Both of the extra golds, or the main golds for both players, are quite far forward. Have you noticed that? They're quite far forward out of their base, so they're going to have to secure these kind of little bit of hill lines here as well.
They have armored monks? No, I don't. They have cheaper monk takes.
Armored monks, nice.
I don't think that's correct though. I think Burmese see the relics, and in RM, you always do. And they have cheaper monk tax, which isn't helpful. But they have fully upgraded monks.
What do you make of the Savars? Do you like them as a unit?
I think they're really good, but not in this matchup, because they are like ranged unit counter.
And I noticed they're actually quite expensive in gold. Am I right to say they're 75 gold each?
Well, they are Paladin, right? They cost the same as a Paladin.
True.
It's a unique upgrade, so they cost the same reds as a Paladin.
I do think they look pretty cool.
Yeah, they do look amazing. And they are really strong, like if it's against CA or like Avalis Civ or even just for early raiding and to give them like another unit.
But we are going to see elephant on elephant here. And Frost is also going to put some keeps up, which I think is very smart as well.
Yeah, I mean, elephant be elephant, at least Burmese have the better halberdiers, right? That should help them, and they are the monks, they are the conversions.
Do you know
he's making 7 monks! He's going monks! He's really going monks! He has 4 max secure and 8 on the field!
And as we know, Persians, they need to mass their elephants, because if you trickle in 4 or 5 at a time, they're just not effective, are they?
Yeah, there will be Frost elephants, and we'll have double elephant comp battle elephant plus war elephant out of Frost, which does excite me because it's really cool. But actually, I wouldn't mind a 2-2 here, so I hope Chris masses a bit.
And looking at the army count, it's almost double at the moment here for Frost, which is kind of expected against Persians. Not getting treadmill crane and building up slower, but I like Frost's position early on. I like it.
Scorpions are helping out quite a bit here though against Frost's army, but they are the bombard cannons to do something against them, and the Burmese war elephants are joining the Burmese panda elephants one by one. Don't tell me Frost wins this matchup as well.
I mean, Frost at the moment is playing it perfectly, like being super aggressive. The towers, I think, are genius as well because they're just so annoying to deal with, right?
Obviously, you're thinking the towers are genius. And I already was about to mention the towers when you said Frost is playing it perfectly because he plays 5 towers in a minute.
I mean, in the ideal world, Persians would just like to patrol their army here, but having these extra towers is just super annoying to deal with. But Chris coming in with a couple of onagers here. Will he get the snipe on the trebs? Yes, I think he will. So it's not too bad there by Chris.
Really, Andy moves in enemies here. Like, I'm believing in the way Frost is playing this, but if I would have seen the Sims, I would have 100% picked Persia.
Both players at the limit for food. Chris does have 30 farmers already, so well done to him for getting them up. Frost does have still a good gold bank of over 2,000 with 52 villagers. And now we see some bombard cannons here coming out for Frost. So it looks like they've kind of like slugged it out a little bit, and both players are now just trying to fortify their position. I love the 2 castles here by Chris.
I do really like Chris' farm eco as well. He's already 44 farms, minute 950, which is super impressive and super good in like this matchup. Means he can keep making elephants in front of his scorpions, but I don't know if he should. They're all getting converted.
Yeah, and Chris has got a lot of trebs here, which I like. However, he's just got to be a little bit careful because Frost does have the bombard cannons behind, and as you can see, as I mentioned, that Frost is now sniping them. And he's
the towers are so OP, man. Like, you're right, because the trebs are all like exposing themselves, trying to fight the towers, and then the converted elephants and the bombard cannons are going for the trebs, and Chris is losing a lot for like very little gain, right? Killing a keep every once in a while. But the Scorpions are taking okay engagements. Go on.
Villager counts are very even. Frost is kind of a bit out of wood though. He's only got, well, as I mentioned, that he's just put 34 villagers on wood, so that's good for him. But I do like the gold count here for Frost in the bank. Was there any relics on this map?
Yeah, I guess because Frost has 2, but Chris just bought wood. As you said, Frost was out of wood. Chris was 2, and Frost now bought wood too. What?
Wow.
What is the higher price than gold on a map that's clearly lacking wood, Kappa? Yeah. We have 503k wood on the map, and they're buying wood.
Maybe Gredis had a word. Gredis had a word with them both, saying you can't deforest anymore in these games.
Makes sense. Chris is gaining ground slowly, but I don't know if he's not investing too much. He has a better KD, but he's also Persians.
Would you,
losing quite a bit of
Chris, at this point, if you're looking at Frost's army, do you maybe add the crossbows in, as we know they only cost wood, correct, right? Or was it
oh, yeah, only? Yeah. I think that would be really nice, yeah.
Because I'm trying to think with that monks, I just think it's Chris really needs to mass at least 20 elephants here.
Cav Archers with new Persians? Yeah. You get 5 gold per halberdier that you kill with them?
I mean, you could even argue as well the crossbow bombard cannon here play for Chris if he wants to be a bit defensive. I mean, I also remember just seeing in there the ballistas on the Persians' castles. They look really cool as well. So,
ballistas? Yeah. What? You can see citadels?
Yeah, can you? Oh no, I mean the gunshots coming out of them.
Ah, the gunshot. Okay.
Yes.
I thought on top of them you could see like the things that are firing the citadel.
I mean that would have been extra cool as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like they could have done it after they put mangonels on ships and called it a Roma. They could have done it for Persian castles as well.
That's very true. I do like this push here by Frost. I think Chris was smart here by he's trying on one of the gold piles to mine it as quick as possible because, as Andy's saying in the chat, Burmese are looking very strong right now. I mean, Frost has got the perfect composition, doesn't he, to push this back or to push Chris back.
They have better elephants? They don't have better elephants, though.
Burmese have the extra armor, is that correct? On their elephants?
Yeah, but like more elephants are better, right? I mean, maybe Burmese get faith, I think that might be the crucial difference here. Because both are not getting heresy, I know that. I mean, right now the Burmese have the better elephants because there's 6 war elephants for Frost and 3 cute war elephants for FreakinChris. So I guess via monks they have the better elephants.
Chris is still doing okay with his population. However, the army is 80 to 27, and Chris is slowly being pushed off those forward goals. And Frost will probably tower them to claim him for himself, and that's going to be super hard for Chris to kind of push his way back into this game.
I said at the start, it's a perfect map to go monks for, and Chris is making it work. Because normally monks in DM have the issue, you use the monks in one spot, and then on the other fighting areas you get attacked, and then you can't control the monks. But with how Michi-like this map is, it's obviously great for Frost already. It's also good for the monks.
Map. Are you surprised Chris maybe didn't or was Chris not expecting Burmese to be as strong as this for the push?
I would have thought he thinks Persians can do this anyways, and that's why I didn't
Okay.
But at least that's what I would have thought if I would be Chris. Because I wouldn't have thought Burmese would be this good. I'll still be honest about that.
Yeah, and Frost is just slowly.
I think he needs, but he's not switching any army. He's still gifting elephants, which are like either commander and crossbow, as you said, or like Cav Archer Hussar, as I kind of hinted at. Like Persians can play that now, Cav Archer Hussar, and to just gain gold by fighting. Like I think that would be a great comp against Burmese that he could switch into mid game, and I think that might make Persians better again then.
Yep, and as we see there, Chris calls the GG.
Oh, didn't go for the tech switch, and Frost with the monk wall, really strong play though still, I think. And the towers were so smart as well. So the polar meta is still going strong.
But you're on course for your prediction. You predicted 4-1, right?
I did, yeah. I would have liked it more if you were on course, or we were on course for 3.
It still can be. There's still games to be played potentially. Well, it's definitely one more game to be played at least. So you never know. We viewers love and casters love a reverse sweep.
We already saw one, I think, yeah, by Nidhi, right?
Yes, that's very true in the Hazi set.
15,000 foods. What I really liked by Chris was the quick food eco. I think that was really strong by him. But I think Frost just better on the comps and micro in this game.
And also on that map as well, I guess Chris was kind of pinned in, wasn't he? Once Frost had that forward momentum, it was very hard for Chris to kind of move his army with all the towers and everything around. So, yeah, Frost very convincing in that game.
I think Frost is looking super strong in this tournament.
Yes.
Also in the quarterfinals. It's very hard to beat him.
Am I right to say that Chris is the first person to take a game off him in this tournament so far?
I think so, right? Like, the only other person I could imagine doing it would have been you, and you didn't, I think. Even though I think you're the most capable of. But I know Zayu didn't in the winner match, and well, the opener I don't remember. I think it was against Dark, right?
Yeah. And they're actually in the next game. 30 seconds. Okay. This is an interesting matchup. I kind of like this matchup.
I'm loving Persians too much. I want to give Chris the win all the time here. The Swift board. And no, Mr. Frost is against it.
Do you want me to pause when I get in with Captrage? There's like 15 seconds, or do you want me to just go live?
I think I'll manage in 15 seconds. I just won't know the Sifs beforehand, so please tell me.
Bulgarians versus Malians.
Oh, that's so classic by now, right? Didn't you play that as well against... No, you played Malians against Persians against Frost, I think, right?
Yes, that's very true.
But I feel like we've seen Malians, Bulgarians quite a bit now. And I think...
Oh boy, what is... This must be so rare to see the same map twice, right?
Yeah, this looks very similar to what we've seen already, right? Once again with the fences. It's a bit different because it's ringed by wood, and we've got a starting monastery, and we've got Tarek Even Zayat, the janitor hero, which is going a bit the wrong way for Chris.
And Frost is just patrolling his. He's not kind of going to attack the 1 HP kind of fencing. So, oh boy, this is an interesting matchup.
Good, decent attack though. 15 plus 3.
I'm just looking on your stream. I think you need to switch your overlay.
Yeah, just noticed the yellow borders were missing.
I think the longer the game goes on, I like this more for Bulgarians because of the Krepos feature.
Yeah, and stirrups also are better than Perimba, like Kev. Infantry, like halberdier wise, it's also better for Bulgarians. Siege launchers are better for Bulgarians. But maybe this isn't an even matchup. Maybe this is just a good matchup for Bulgarians if they can survive the start. It's obviously, start would be better for Malians. Getting Tigui, getting Treadmigraine.
And what's hard, excuse me, for Malians as well is the conics are super strong. So obviously the ideal comp you want to go is for Bulgarians is probably camels, siege onagers, Gibbertos. But the trouble is Gibbertos, a lot of them just fire all together. Do you see what I mean? So it's often kind of 1 or 2 targets at a time, and I think the conics can tank that. So with Chris, I think he's got to have maybe mass onagers with attack round. But as you mentioned, Bulgarian's looking very strong on this map.
What do you think about Chris here opening Cavalier, not Camels?
Initially, not a bad idea to snipe some early fields. He's sniping some early siege, but I don't think you want to kind of invest too much gold into them. As you can see, Chris is already down to 2.5k gold already. He does have a lot queued.
I saw the Rex start and did it, right? So no Cavalier out of the Bulgarians, which is clearly smart in this matchup. Not the greatest SO shots once again by Chris. Like that Onager could have gotten more damage at the front.
The only thing in favour for Chris at the moment, which a lot of players kind of forget to do as Bulgarians, is to naturally get an early castle up, isn't it, for trebuchets? Obviously, you're going to get your Krepos as priority to pump out the conics. So that's one saving grace for Chris at the moment, is that Frost still doesn't have a castle up for trebuchets.
Yeah, always a bit trouble, like with Bulgarians, right? As we saw when you played against True never having the potential to get traps out with Bulgarians. It's
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, over double the army here for Frost, looking good, and then Chris sort of trying to throw those Cavaliers in, but he didn't actually get a single snipe of Frost's onagers there. So yeah,
early relics for both. Will be 3-3 after Frost gets this one in a very frontal monastery. Chris can survive a bit, right? He has these 4 castles in front of his base, so don't think the game will end right away, especially as there's no traps on the field really for Frost. 6 in the queue though in his 1 castle, so will take a while, and then we'll give Chris some room to get a defensive army out again. Monks again after the SO, like Frost really in love with monks now after the last game.
He's starting a trend, isn't he, now? You're just going to see loads of monks play in future DM tournaments.
Yeah, our meta's taking over, right? We had the monk meta now also coming to DM.
Yes, there you go. But this is a scary push by Frost.
Yeah, very scary.
Siege onagers. Chris has got 4. Well, he's got 4 bombard cannons in the queue. So let's see if he can do something with them. Oh, but the trebs of Chris is... Oh, no.
Oh, the castles are firing at Halberdiers. Need to focus fire the castles on the SO, but it's too late. All the trebs are down. Maybe some bombard cannons behind can help, but no siege engineer on those. Still 96 army out of the Bulgarian player. Economy development somewhat similar enough, I think, from Frost's perspective, as he doesn't get Treadmigraine.
And like you said, the army count...
Oh, the monastery!
120. And the monastery, yeah, it's probably going to get sniped. Chris is like, gold bank is not looking good. He's just, it's just as you mentioned. These Cavaliers are just not working, are they?
Still has 31 on gold now. Has a bigger gold eco than Frost. Frost, he has 6 traps in queue though, right? That's his gold. And maybe they should have built new monasteries in the back instead of putting all the relics in the ones that they started with, because they're both kind of forward.
But it's just so hard for the Malians now. I mean, just how do you fight this composition? I guess you just need to out micro with the siege. But even then, like I mentioned, with the Bulgarians just pushing forward, the Crepos are just so good as well.
Maybe can get one trip here on the left at least with the bombard cannon, but the Halberdiers are streaming in. And Halberdiers also maybe some champion, maybe it was Champ Camel after all, I'm not sure. But also champions against these masters, so all against Frost feel a bit bad. Yeah, I think it's pretty tough for the Malians also to keep Gebetto alive in this matchup with Carnage and SO both, right?
Yeah, just a lot of micro in, and Frost with another fantastic SO shot on the Cavalier. And Chris is not really building backwards as well. I think Chris knows deep down, unfortunately, this game is lost and this series is. So it's just a bit unlucky. No re's used as well in this series, which is surprising.
True. Yeah, but I feel like the Saracens Dravidians game was a bit of the turnaround in the set right after the Saracens got lost. And yeah, Chris calls it GG, well played, good luck next. Frost loses his first game in the tournament, but after this set does look even more like a big favorite or one of the big favorites to win the tournament.
Yep. Well played by both players. Fair play for Chris. He gave it a good showing as well. Obviously, he hasn't been playing too much deathmatch or the game in general, but as you mentioned, Frost, he seems to, I don't know, it seems like no matter what civ you pick against him, you know you're not going to get an easy ride. He's just like a machine. You think you're on the front foot, he then just magically will take out half your army with a couple of SO shots. But Frost just executing the games perfectly, in my opinion. Very well played.
Yeah, really, really impressive. And I think Chris was a bit disheartened after game 3. I think we see a different, like, if the game 3 was really close, and I think Chris, and also same as us, thought it's a civ advantage for him. Yep. And if he wins the Saracen Dravidian games, I think we do see a bit of a different set after that.
Yeah,
but
and you're probably
Frost
right
very
about
impressively winning it there.
Feeling disheartened. I mean, it is in deathmatch. You think you're doing okay. You think you're building the right sort of stuff, and it seems like you're just getting beat, and it is kind of hard. But it's also hard with the map and the settings because you don't know what kind of map you're going to get. Obviously, with the draft, you don't know what your opponent's going to pick. You think you're going to pick a civ which should do well, and then all of a sudden you see what you're against, and it can be disheartening. But yeah, Frost rolls on. What's Frost now? Semi-finals, right?
Semi-finals indeed, and he's ready to join us, so I will drag him in now. Professor Frost, you were striking again. Congratulations.
Hello.
Yeah, congratulations, Frost. Well done.
Thank you.
How you feeling?
Feeling now I'm feeling good, but it was a bit stressful.
You must have been very more happy with your draft, right? You look like you really thought about your draft in this series.
Yeah, I think I had a better draft this time, but he also had some good civs, so we had some interesting matchups.
Yes, a very exciting series. I really enjoyed some of the matchups, and I guess Otter, you can talk about with Frost some of the games we saw. Is that what did Otter say? Oh, you start the interview. Okay, so Frost is away. Okay, so game 1, what did you make of that?
Oh, game 1. It was the Teutons.
Teutons, yeah.
What civ did he have? Byzantines. Yeah, that was like the Oasis map. I think that was a really good match for me. Like, only land, Oasis start. Yeah, I don't think he can do much there, really.
Were you worried that after seeing Byzantines that it could have been a water map?
Yeah, for sure. And I knew he had like a better navy and faster start and everything, so that would have been very problematic.
Yeah, no, you played that really well. It was interesting because he tried to do like the cavalry archer sort of harass at the start, which I thought was kind of initially good, but when you look how big that map was, because I was saying to Otter, it reminds me of like an Atacama map. It was very big, and you were very smart as always going with the early castles, and once you got your kind of composition army going, it was just extremely hard for him to ever try and kind of push you back as well.
Yeah, I think that was very unlucky for him that it was a map generated like that. But I also understand he wasn't, he didn't want to use his reader like in game one.
Yes.
So
Mm.
yeah, the Cav Archer thing, yeah, was smart, but on that map it's just too big. Just too big though.
And
Were you like afraid of him like defending with cataphracts for a while, sniping your siege into? Because I think late game Byzantines might have a good matchup there, or I don't know. I didn't think like Teutons would dominate that hard there after how we've seen Kelar play Byzantines against Celts, for example.
I think if I run up to gold, I'm probably dead. But as long as I have gold and can just keep massing onagers, I think I'm fine. And then I can just push with castle, so I can snipe his cannons.
I think what was key for Frost is like what Otter was saying about when he saw Keller play that matchup against Tweppy is you were really good at kind of making sure your whole army didn't get wiped, because I think that's the way for the Byzantines to kind of come back in that matchup. If they take a really good fight and they just wipe your army, it can be very hard for Teutons to slowly build back up. But you always had army there. Even if you had a few losses of onagers here and there, you always had backup army ready. So I think that was crucial for you.
Yeah, I never managed to wipe me really. So yeah.
But you're also really hard, like over all the games and over all what I know of you and what I've seen of you in this tournament and others, it is really hard to wipe your arm.
Well, it depends on the map also. I mean, that map was very hard to like get something going for Chris. He needed like a bigger map with more spaces, I think, to be able to wipe it.
I
That
think the
was
only
like-
way you wipe out Frost is to use Cobra Card cheat or something.
No.
Petards, superhuman petards or something.
I'm sure there's other ways. I'm sure.
Saboteurs.
There you go.
Saboteurs, yeah.
And then game 2, that was just the Davidians
Oh.
Saracens, correct?
That was
No,
so
that's-
interesting comp-wise. No, Inca
No,
Goth.
Goth Inca.
Oh
Inca
yeah, Inca
Goth.
Goth. Sorry, yes.
That was such a
Full
disaster.
slinger meta.
Oh man, I should have taken the market. I didn't think of that until I saw he took the market. So that was too late then.
Yes. Were you surprised how well he pushed you back?
I mean, he has like siege engineer, like sheeper units. I also have sheep units, but I had to like produce like all gold units.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wasn't too surprised, but I tried to hold that hill to the right, but it didn't work.
What I was surprised as well, because usually Frost, you being such a great top player, you've seen other ones. When they see army compositions, sometimes they kind of adapt. So I was expecting to see you make Cavalier potentially, because obviously he was a very slinger heavy kind of comp, wasn't he? But I guess you were probably worried about the Kamajuk switch as well.
Yeah, I've been tormented by those Kamajukes, like they're killing everything. So
Well, I didn't know because you did it against me.
Yeah, I've been damaged by that. So
Yeah, nightmares. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was well played by Chris in that game. He, I think he had to try and finish it early as well. I think the longer the game went on, I think you would have, with the Hussar raiding and stuff, would have basically submitted him as well. So, but
yeah, that was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah, Slinger start worked out really well there for him, and it's tough for Goth to find an answer. You kind of tried a lot of things, but nothing on the ranged roster really worked.
I think I tried most of the things like from the archer range, but it didn't work, unfortunately.
But I guess you learn from these games as well. It's you learn, so
yeah. Try avoid having Goths against Inca. I think we learned. I think
you were
we
hoping
learned that
for a hybrid map, weren't you, for that one?
Yeah, I was thinking, should I use my re here? Probably not.
You still only get one re, is that correct, in these best of sevens?
Yeah, still one. Yeah.
And then I think the most important match of this best of 7, I don't know if you agree, but we had like the first pick that we rarely see, that always gets sniped or banned, Saracens on the field, and you had Dravidians. What were your initial thoughts about them?
I thought it was going to be very onager heavy, and I tried to go for the market. I went for the market, and then I forgot to sell. So he took the whole market, I think.
No, I think he delayed your market and built his own with 2 villagers there. It was really smart by him.
Yeah, and then I missed the whole market. So that almost killed me because I ran out of gold, I think. I think he also ran out of gold because he was making Mamelukes. I don't know if that was the right choice early on.
Would you have gone for camels, more heavy camels?
I think I would have went for Cav Archer, probably.
Okay.
Cav Archer, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He did a lot of Cav Archers early on. He sniped your villagers in the back, but then the Cav Archers felt kind of useless against the Elephant Archers.
Yeah, they suck against elephants, but at least they can snipe those helps. That's like, I was just trying to throw in as many helps as I could, like a meat shield.
Do you think maybe champion would have been good for Chris, or was it just, I don't know? Would you think the Cavalry Archers would have been better?
I mean, if he makes champions, I make
You've got
those
the Onagers,
roomy things, roomy sportsmen. I don't know. Maybe he could have mixed in a few, but I think everything would have just died to Siege Onagers.
You did very well because obviously Dravidians don't have the treadmill crane. They need to get their army up. But you took really good you both kind of took really good fights with the Siege Onagers. I think overall, obviously, you took the better ones. But I think you were kind of patient, which was good because me and Otter was saying it's crucial for you to keep your Elephant Archers alive, crucial for Chris to keep his Mamelukes, and in the end, your Elephant Archers stayed alive, obviously, much longer than his Mamelukes. And I feel like you waited for the perfect opportunity to push him as well.
Yeah, first he pushed me, and then I tried to counter push him, and that worked well. After that, like in the mid game somewhere, he tried to push me back again.
Yes,
and then I could push back, because I still had gold. I think I had like 2-3k gold there. So...
And we were saying to the own stream, we knew it was a very micro-intensive kind of game because we looked at I don't know, both of your farmers or your farm count at one point. I think you had 9 and Chris had 4, and both out of food as well.
Yeah, the farming was not a priority early on.
Yeah, so, but it was very interesting. Like I was saying to Otter, I haven't seen that matchup a lot in DM, so it was very interesting to see how it played out as well.
Yeah, I had no idea either how that would go really.
I would still think it's something that Jared Saracen should win. No, don't you agree? It's like they have way better onagers, and it's mainly comes down to an onager fight.
And he can raid me with those hussars, and I can't really raid him.
I think what Chris maybe should have done, and I was thinking, I didn't say it in the stream, was he should have onagered your forward wood lines, because the way he was leading his army, you purposely didn't onage him, Frost, because I think for that reason, to make his armies kind of split around. And I feel like if Chris opened up that area, he maybe could have flanked you a bit better. I don't know what you think.
I thought he was going to cut my wood on the left side. I think he clicked on the wood line, but
okay.
I really thought he was going to start cutting my wood lines, so I'm happy he didn't do that.
Yeah, I think that might have made the battles a little bit better for him, and it would have opened up opportunities for him to potentially raid. Because, like you said, I did see you build kind of like a wall of a siege workshop and a house, because I think maybe you were fearing some raids in that kind of corner where your farming eco was. But
on the right. Yeah. I was really surprised he didn't raid me that much. So
yeah, perhaps he was too focused on the fights with the onagers.
Yeah, it was like if you looked away for 1 second, you lose 500 years.
Like 500 gold down the drain.
Yeah, and then you have to sell for that, and it's brutal.
Oh, very well played that game.
Yeah,
when I saw the matchup, I was hoping for like a water map.
Yeah,
I thought I was doomed on a land map.
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised you didn't re. I was thinking potentially you were going to re, but you played it out.
I just wanted to save it like later on. I didn't want to use it against his best civ, but that felt like, I don't know, risky.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
That's true.
Probably don't want to use it in that matchup. But do you like that felt like the turnaround game of the set? If Chris would have somehow won that, I think we would have seen a bit of a different second part of the set.
I think
do you also think that did a lot for you to win that?
I think that cost him the set, yeah, for sure. After that, I could kind of waste civs if I wanted to, I think. Maybe not, but it felt good after that game. Like I felt like I was in control.
Well, that's why I thought your Burmese was kind of a burner civ.
Yeah. I mean, if it would have been a water map, I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
I was lucky there. It was 2 towns at the start.
Yeah.
Budapest.
And as Frost said, it was kind of like a Michi in a way.
Did he?
So in that one, but yeah, you played that extremely well. Like a few people in the chat were saying Burmese was kind of the better civ. I kind of agree with them. I think you played it perfectly as well with the monks, the halberdiers, the towers as well. And you never let him kind of really mass more than kind of like 15 elephants at a time, which I think is key against a Persian.
Yeah, I tried to force an engagement in the middle so he would fight with me, so he didn't mess up. And then we just kept on fighting there in the middle.
And I think you having obviously the cheaper army composition as well helped, and you kept your monks alive a lot. Yeah, you kept your trebs alive. Yeah, you played that really well because I was fearing that he was going to mass up a lot of elephants and do like a big siege ram push against you.
Yeah.
But you never allowed him to do that.
Yeah, that's why I tried to rush into the middle and just tower up everything.
Yeah, you played that really well. Really well. Otto, anything to ask for that game 4?
Do you like? We were thinking about if he could have done like Mandarin or even like new Persian Cavalry switch, and that would have like brought him back maybe for like a later game with the gold generation as well, and to counter the monks and helps. But he kept making elephants, so you had more elephants than him.
Maybe those crossbows, maybe. But I don't know what his wood count was because he was making a lot of siege and everything. Maybe he was low in wood.
You were both buying wood at some point.
I bought wood and food. I had such a poor economy, I think.
Yeah, because like Otto said, there wasn't enough wood on that map, so yeah, it makes sense.
Only 500,000, so you both bought wood.
Yeah, we did mention that, didn't we, Otto, about the crossbows and maybe going bombard cannon crossbows to try and push you back. But it's very hard, isn't it, Frost, when someone towers you up?
Yeah. You just want to like try to stop it before it becomes too much.
Yeah.
How much are you part of Polar Tower meta, Frost?
Let's say 75%.
Do you know what? I'll give you a little hint. I said to Frost he can win this tournament if he adds towers to his game.
More towers.
Going good so far, as well against you with the Inca towers there in the middle on the deforestation game against you. So.
After that game, we should ban towers from tournaments.
I think I said that in one of the last games. Next tournament, I'm banning towers again.
Wasn't Ragnarok, right? No towers?
Yeah.
Apart from Krepost and the donjons, I think. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's Ragnarok 2, it would be no towers again, I think.
Oh no.
So don't get too used to it, guys.
Rip.
And then Frost's game 5 was basically basically same map with a monastery, right, of the Goth Incas.
Oh yeah.
Are you surprised he didn't read that?
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised. After I think you have like up to 2 minutes, and I kind of felt he did no damage like before 2 minutes. So I was expecting a re.
Do you think it was the incident when I completely forgot about renew in the Inca's Spanish? Do you think Chris forgot potentially to use his re?
Could be.
Yeah,
I think so.
We need a mod that says you have 20 seconds left to re, like flash up on your screen.
Comes in like a warning.
Yeah, like a flashing warning.
Paula, you mean a reminder?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's brilliant. A reminder. I love that. But me and Otto was saying for that game 5, what can Malians do in that close map? Because we knew what the Bulgarians should do is mass Krepos, just get that composition. What can Malians really do, Frost? How would you have played it differently if you were Chris?
I don't think you can win as Malians on a land map if the Bulgarians get their crew post up, because they have better siege and they can just do helps. Siege, onager. I mean, onager helps and trebs. Yeah. And that's kind of unstoppable.
Even taking it to late game, as Otter said, with the Hussar with the stirrups and stuff, Malians only getting the light cav, although they get the +7 attack. It's just... But yeah, were you surprised with how many cavaliers he was making?
Yeah, he queued up a lot. I was surprised he didn't stop it earlier. I think that cost him a lot of gold, but once again, I think he took the market there. So
yes, yeah, it's just very hard. I mean, with the Malians in that, the only way you're going to push them back is maybe with bombard cannon and Trez, but it's very slow. I mean, the Krepos, if you scatter them around, and the Conics are just they're a really good elite unit in my opinion.
Yeah, they're very good at sniping siege.
Yeah, and stuff, but yeah, you played pretty much, even the games you lost, you played extremely well. Like I said, it's going to be... I'm trying to think who's going to stop you, Frost. I mean, I gave you the 3-0 win because I didn't want to stop you, to be honest. But,
very kind of you.
Yeah, I mean, Otto, who's he play next, potentially?
In semifinals, you're going to face the winner of Ganji and Brew. I feel like we already talked about it a bit, Frost, during previous casts.
Yeah.
Ganji's your kryptonite, Frost, isn't he?
Yeah. I guess it's because he's Swedish. I think that is a kryptonite.
Frost version 2.0, in my opinion.
Let's see how we can beat that. Hopefully Brew wins.
Have they decided when they're going to play?
Monday, maybe.
Monday?
Ganji didn't have time on the weekend because, well, it's not fully sure yet. I don't think there's a response. I haven't seen a response to the Monday proposal.
But yeah, I think all the
Hopefully
semi-finals should be an absolute classic, and obviously Kelar Daywalker's tomorrow, I think. So
Yeah.
that should be interesting.
And True against the winner of that then Sunday evening.
Yeah.
To come.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good matches to come for sure.
Yeah, really excited, and then another best of sevens coming. So yeah, really enjoyed this series. I would have liked to have been a little bit longer as an observer, but I think Frost, you're probably extremely happy with that performance.
Yeah, feels very good, and now I can relax for like 1 week again.
Yeah,
sit back and relax and just watch.
Congratulations again, man.
Out, yeah. Congratulations, yeah. You're looking very strong. I think you are. I'm not trying to be biased, but I think you are my favorite to win.
Okay, thank you guys. Well played also to Chris. It was hard. It was very hard though.
Like I was saying to Chris, I don't think he's played much Deathmatch or Age of Empires in general. So fair play to Chris, as I mentioned in the series, for giving it a really good shot and playing well. I think on another day, different maps, different Civ matchups, it might have been closer, but that's what it is. It's hyper random. You don't know what you're gonna get.
5 maps and not a single water map.
Yeah, you rigged that, Frost, didn't you?
I rigged that with my non-Navy Civs.
Yeah, especially 2 maps which were basically the same.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Didn't see that much, but that was the great games. Thanks a lot for playing, man, and thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you guys for casting. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Thanks for you for coming in, Polar. It was great fun and great to see you casting again or hear you casting.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hope we had more.
It was very good. And yeah, thank you for doing this tournament. I'm pretty sure like you've casted pretty much every game, and then for anyone in the chat who doesn't run tournaments or know too much about tournaments, like thank you for the hard work behind the scenes, the admin work, the seed-ins, making sure all the players are scheduling, and for fantastic prize pool as well. It's a lot of hard work, and you've done it really good. You've like smashed it out the park. So for me and the DM community, thank you, Otter, and the rest of your admin team as well. It's been a really cool tournament. I love the automatic bans of the draft. I would like to see them used in the future as well. I think it's a great addition. It kind of mixes up the civilization, so you don't see the same standard ones. But really enjoyed this tournament. It's been fun to play in it, and it's also been great to watch it as well with all your casts. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And obviously, then we're gonna have Winter's War 2 with random bans as well. Looking forward to that, right?
You know what? The settings are all done. It's just prize pool. I'll throw that out there. Settings are all done.
Oh wow!
Just prize pool.
I thought I was joking.
Yeah.
Guys with money out
there,
in the works
for quite a while. Yeah. So who works for Microsoft? Nearly anyone? Come on. Can we have Winners War 2?
I'm going to mention that more often now that I know that. Yeah.
I mean, new revamped tier lists with the new civs included as well. It would be fun to see.